What would have happened if Pyrrha beat Cinder in RWBY? Hello, this is the Dreamer, and today I'm making a RWBY fan theory. RWBY is a story created by a man named Montillon, and I'm going to be simply describing the events that led up to Pyrrha versus Cinder fall, and what would have happened if Pyrrha had won instead of Cinder. Spoiler alert as well. For this TV show, RWBY. In the world of Remnant, created by Montillon, the story of RWBY follows its main protagonist, Ruby Rose, and her journey to becoming a huntress, or a guardian who destroys monsters called Grimm. Grimm are soulless creatures whose main goal is to destroy creatures with souls, mostly humans. The story has currently finished its 5th season, and the events happening in the story currently stem from one very large event, the fall of Beacon Academy. Beacon Academy was where Ruby and her friends went to learn about being huntresses for the first 3 seasons. But in the fall, not only does the school get destroyed, but both the headmaster and the most powerful student, a girl named Pyrrha, were killed by an attacker named Cinder Fall. This leaves the audience wondering, what would have happened if Pyrrha had beaten Cinder in their fight directly after Cinder had fought Ozpin, the headmaster? The events leading up to this point in the story are not horribly complicated. Ruby joins Beacon 2 years early because of her exceptional skills with her scythe, Crescent Rose, and decides to make friends with her new teammates, Blake Belladonna, Wei Schnee, and Yang Zhao Long. And together they form the team RWBY. She also meets Jean from Team Juniper. Jean is the leader of Juniper, and the team consists of Jean Arc, Pyrrha, Lai Ren, and Nora Valkyrie. Season 1 simply ends with them all working together to stop some school bullies and defeat some big Grimm. In Season 2, the team successfully stops an attack on the city led by Roman Torchwick. But it's in the beginning of Season 3 where the students get to fight in a nationwide tournament between all the different schools of Remnant. This is when Pyrrha is approached by Headmaster Ozpin and told about the power of the maiden. He explains that there were 4 maidens with special powers: winter, fall, summer, and spring, and they were given these powers from an old wizard. Before the events of Season 1, the Fall Maiden had been attacked and almost killed. Apparently, when a maiden dies, their powers pass to the last female's face that they thought of. For the Fall Maiden, it is very likely that it is a woman who attacked and incapacitated her, and it is a very likely danger that when she dies, her powers would pass to the killer. Ozpin plans on using his special power to transfer the Fall Maiden's power to Pyrrha. But Beacon is then attacked by some students who betray the school, a terrorist leader named Adam Torres, and Cinder Fall. So, as they go into the basement of Beacon to try to transfer the powers, Cinder finds Ozpin and Jean protecting Pyrrha while the powers are being transferred. She disrupts the power transfer, and Pyrrha wakes up because she was unconscious at the time. Ozpin tells Jean and Pyrrha to run away and fights her, and after a very short skirmish, she kills Ozpin and ascends the tower. Pyrrha sees her ascending the tower and decides to fight Cinder herself, as she did gain some of the maiden's powers, and believes that with that small amount she could possibly win. She sends Jean away into an escape pod and goes to fight Cinder herself. In the original story, Pyrrha dies after a lengthy fight, and RWBY shows up in the last minute. Upon seeing Pyrrha die, her silver eye power activates, stunning a grim dragon that had been attacking the school and incapacitating Cinder for the next season. Afterwards, RWBY, Lai Ren, Nora Valkyrie, Jean, and Crow, secretly Crow, travel to another school looking for aid in the mission against the Grimm.
When the team travels to the other school, they find out that the headmaster was in fact a traitor, and a fight breaks out. But the good people win the battle, luckily, but there are grave costs. So this is where the canon series left off.
So, first we'd have to make it possible for Pyrrha to defeat Cinder, which isn't horribly hard. The only change would be to make Ozpin try harder against Cinder, as he went easy on her to avoid destroying the school. This is confirmed as Ozpin is later reincarnated in a boy named Oscar, and explains that he is the wizard who gave the maidens their powers. Therefore, Ozpin is far more powerful than Cinder, but as he was trying to protect the school, he would not be going all out to destroy it. So, assuming that he attempts to fight her harder, as we are still trying to have Pyrrha be the one who wins the fight, not Ozpin. So Ozpin would still die in this scenario. When Cinder hurt more after her fight between Ozpin, the fight between her and Pyrrha would take a longer period of time. Now, after Pyrrha sent John away when she was going to fight Cinder, John quickly called Weiss and RWBY, and that's why RWBY showed up last minute, because Weiss helped her get there quicker. In this version, RWBY would get there before the end of the fight. Now, with Cinder hurt and the fight between her and Pyrrha, and with RWBY and Weiss making their way to help Pyrrha, RWBY would have appeared there before Pyrrha died. Now, however, RWBY wouldn't arrive in the middle of the fight. She would arrive soon enough to join Pyrrha's side. As they continued, Weiss would be on her way up the tower to come and help. Cinder would almost definitely fall in this battle, as the power she had was great, but she would fall to the combined might of RWBY Rose and Pyrrha. When she died, it was most likely that the power that she has of the Fall Maiden would transfer to Pyrrha, as Pyrrha now had a small part of the Maiden inside of her, and this would likely happen right as Weiss arrived on the top of the tower. So while everything sounds great so far, one of the big villains is killed, everything goes downhill from this point forward. The original scenario, a huge grim dragon, was stopped by RWBY Rose's silver eyes right as she saw Pyrrha die. But now, the trio of Weiss, RWBY, and Pyrrha has to work together to take out this dragon themselves. The problem is, this dragon was known as one of the most powerful Grims available, and even with a full blast of her eyes, which is known as one of the most powerful attacks in the series, it was only able to stun it. So with a hurt Pyrrha, a hurt tired Pyrrha, a fresh Weiss, and a RWBY, there is little chance that they would be able to come out of this unscathed. However, because of the events of the 5th season, it is known that RWBY's eyes can activate not only when she sees death, but also when she feels completely and utterly hopeless. Now, first, to explain how her eyes activate, let me explain why the other characters in this scenario could not come and help fight this dragon. Yang Xiaolong and Blake Belladonna have been attacked by Adam Torres. Adam Torres once loved Blake. Adam Torres incapacitated Yang Xiaolong and left Blake too scared to do anything, and they were running away. All the powerful teachers, such as Crow, Glenda Goodwitch, who was a teacher, and Armstrong, the leader of the army, were all in the city, fighting more Grimm that had attacked. As for the other villains, Torchwick and Neo had both been taken out of action, though neither of them would have fought the dragon, and Cinderfall was now dead. So anyone who could take out this dragon possibly was gone. And simply, there is no possible way that the tired Pyrrha and RWBY alongside Weiss could take down this dragon. However, being optimistic, it is possible that they could still stun the dragon like in the original. RWBY's eyes could activate when she feels totally hopeless. So, we can deduce that one of them, Pyrrha or Weiss, would get hurt very badly, and RWBY's powers would activate like they did in Season 5. This would stun the dragon and allow Pyrrha and Weiss to escape with RWBY. In the aftermath, Weiss would go back home, Yang would go to rehabilitation, and RWBY would go and be ready for their next mission. The only difference would be Pyrrha is alive and Cinder is dead. Now RWBY's team would likely change up a little bit. Instead of Team Junior, Jean, Nora, RWBY, and Ren going on the mission, it is likely that Pyrrha would come alongside Crow, who would want to be training her as they went along. Similarly to Season 5, they would be attacked by an assailant named Tyrion, and they would reach the other academy. Now, inside of the original, Cinder had recruited Adam for this final fight at the academy. In this scenario, it would just simply likely be another member of the evil party who would go and recruit him. It doesn't make much of a difference as he was taken out by Blake. So, again, the fight would happen. However, now, Pyrrha would be far stronger, and it is incredibly likely that some of the villains could perish. The reasons the villains were attacking the other school was because that school harbored an ancient relic, and Crow's sister, Raven, was going to help those villains try to get it. Raven had also been recruited by Cinder, but now it would likely have been another person who recruited her. Differently,
Cinder played a huge part in holding back the good team as Raven went and stole the relic. However, in this scenario, Pyrrha is the one with those powers. So, Mercury and Emerald would likely get taken out, and so would the rest of Pyrrha's team. Adam would run away like in the original, and the good guys would obtain the relic and arrest the Academy officer. So, in other words, most of the villain team, going with the major villain of the series, not yet named, would be wiped out in this encounter. Some would still survive, but because Pyrrha is alive, she would be able to take out the villains alongside RWBY and the others. So what does this mean for the future of the story? Well, as it's only speculation what's going to happen in the canon storyline right now, with Pyrrha alongside them, what most likely would happen is that Pyrrha would help greatly in hunting down other villains who are supporting the Grimm's side. When the final battle comes, which has not yet happened in the canon series, against good and evil, it is very likely that Pyrrha would join the side of good. Another possibility is that Pyrrha would fight Raven. Raven is revealed to be the Spring Maiden, so having a fall versus spring battle would not be too unlikely. However, Raven would win that battle as she is more experienced. So that's all I can talk about in terms of RWBY up to Season 5. Hope you enjoyed the video, and maybe I'll make more RWBY fan theory videos. But yeah, that is all.